we gotta discuss this boule boycott you Negroes have been hyping up all week. Y'all been hyping this bullshit up all week. And it's just tiring, man, because it's like, damn, here we go again. Here we go again. This is just more proof as to how unhinged, uninformed, and unintelligent black folks in America are as a collective unit. Once again, I'm saying as a collective unit, not that we don't have intelligent people in our rank and file, because we do. Okay, now, unfortunately, the majority of the people that we have speaking on our behalf in public are idiots. Straight up idiots who don't have your well-being in mind. They don't have your well-being in mind because they manipulate you into doing stupid shit. For example, the February 28th blackout that you guys allegedly participated in today was just a bad idea. Flat out, dumbass idea. And I'll tell you why. First off, what the hell is one day of not purchasing anything gonna prove to anyone? Okay? Especially since you'll be right back here the next day. Tomorrow's the first of the month. I mean, of all the days you could have picked the boycott, you picked the day before niggas' food stamps get renewed. Niggas been waiting on them food stamps for probably the last week and a half. They can finally go re-up on their groceries, and you picked the day before to tell niggas not to shop. Come on, bro. Stupid idea. Stupid idea. Second, you guys already tried this with the NFL, remember? It didn't work. Kaepernick never got his job back, and you niggas kept watching football. Third of all, I myself was out shopping today at multiple stores. I went to Costco, and guess what? It was niggas everywhere. I went to Target, and guess what? It was bougie niggas everywhere. I went to Walmart, and guess what? It was ratchet niggas everywhere. I even went to the liquor store, and guess what? It was niggas of every shade, class, and creed in that bitch everywhere. Fourth of all, you're doing all this nonsense for a policy that doesn't even benefit your community in the first place. What policy are we talking about? DEI. All of this foolishness is over DEI, and it's crazy because nobody can produce any pure data that shows that DEI is of any relevance or benefit to the black community. In fact, the only studies on DEI that I'm aware of show black folks actually benefit less than 4% from any of these policies. White women and gay white men have shown to take the lion's shares of the benefits from these programs. But once again, they got your black ass out here marching for policies that don't include you. They get to sit back while you dumbass niggas catch all the criticism for advocating for this failed policy. And let's just say, hypothetically, let's just say you get your wish and DEI comes back. Then what, nigga? Then what? You spent all your political and social capital on other people and you're still left with nothing. This is the ass backwards type of thinking. This is the ass backwards type of thinking that I be talking about. But for pointing out the obvious, right? Just for pointing out the obvious, I get called a sellout and a coon.
Coon? Well, raccoons trying to get on our back porch. Mama just chased them off with a broom.
Not raccoons, you idiot. Niggas.
So I want to break this down to y'all real quick, right? You see, my lived experiences and the experiences of my family give me my outlook on DEI, okay? Nobody, especially the men in my family, right, ever looked for a handout. I come from a long line of hardworking men who pride themselves on success and taking care of their goddamn families. So that DEI shit never crosses my mind. You want something? You work hard and you go get it. That's pretty much the key to life. For example, right? I'm gonna use both my grandfathers, for example, and I hate to lecture you guys, but I gotta say this shit. All right, so first, let's talk about my mother's father, Grandpa Jackson, okay? My mother's father was born in rural Georgia, okay? Rural Georgia. He was born in the 1920s, okay? He was raised by his grandfather, who was a successful business owner, but his grandfather died when he turned 12. He had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go, right? So a white family ended up taking him in. Of course, he had to work to earn his keep around there, but he worked, earned his keep, and went to school up until he was like 17 years old. And then he dipped out and went to the Army. He went to the Army for 20 years. He married my grandmother, started a family with 4 kids, retired from the Army, started working for Metro in DC, worked there 20 years, retired. 2 wonderful retirements, 4 kids who are all successful. Let's go to my grandfather Brooks. He grew up in rural Virginia in the 1930s. He was born in the 30s. Like 1930, 1931, something like that, or 32. But anyway, you can imagine what that time frame was like in rural Virginia, okay? He worked hard in rural Virginia, got good grades in school, right? And then he ended up getting a job at NSA, the National Security Agency or whatever, right? To this day, we none of us know what he did. He could never talk about what he did. But he worked there. He also worked at the grocery store at night part-time. He also had a successful landscaping business. And what he also did was, which was smart, he bought up all the property in and around the area that he grew up in Virginia. So he took the money that he made in DC and he bought up all the shit in the area of Virginia that he grew up in. Now, to this day, that property is worth a lot of money. And guess what? When he died, he left it to us. He left the legacy off to his children. All right, this is 2 examples of 2 black men who grew up in what most would argue are the worst circumstances to grow up from in America, and they made it without complaining. They didn't need DEI. They put their mind to what they wanted to do. They worked hard. They kept their faith, and they centered that around their families, and that's why they both were able to have great lives for themselves. And their children were all successful and had made great lives for their children. Now I'm successful in my own right, and I give a great life to my children. That's what it's all about. That's the key to a successful community. Families headed by strong, determined men. Not these baby mamas and the punk ass kids that they produce. And no offense if you was born to a baby mama. I'm not shitting on baby mamas, but you know what I'm saying. Families have to be important again. Once you have a strong family, right? Then you have strong families around you. That's called a community. Strong families make strong communities. Weak families make weak communities. Hence, what you see in the black community every single day. Every single day. That's what you see. The product of weak families. Now, like I said, those are the type of men whose lineage I come from, okay? So if they can make it off a high school diploma and work hard in the rural South in the 20s and 30s and end up being successful men who raise successful children and grandchildren, then it's no excuse for any of you Negroes today. Matter of fact, I got some homies, right? And matter of fact, they family for real. They're basically my family, right? So my pops was best friends with their dads, and their dads were brothers, right? They grew up together. Now I'm best friends with the sons, and we grew up together, right? Anyway, their grandfather had an 8th grade education, 8th grade. Ended up moving to DC from North Carolina, stacked his bread. Ended up being one of the biggest business owners in DC in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And to this day, the business is still thriving. My homie took over the business. Deaths happened in the family, so now my homie's running everything. So yeah, it ain't no excuses out here for you niggas, man. Especially if you live in DC. There's nothing but opportunity and government programs for niggas in DC. All you gotta do is apply yourself. The goddamn meter maids in DC are busting out $100 grand a year, easy. Easy. And to make it even crazier, they don't even test niggas for weed no more. They don't even test you for, you can smoke your weed. What's the excuse? What's the excuse? Put your mind to something, do the research, make a plan, set goals, and follow through. That's the formula. That's the formula to everything that you could ever do in life. If you want to succeed and you follow that formula, you'll be the best at what you do.